in the course of his legal career that's now more than 30 years going, he served twice as a prosecutor in the Bexar County District Attorney's Office, and actually for a period of several years over in Harris County in Houston, served as a prosecutor. But since then, he's been in private practice as a criminal defense attorney for 23 years. So he has seen the system from all sides, and that makes him very unique as a district attorney. I can't remember another district attorney in contemporary memory that had such a long career on the other side as a criminal defense attorney. I think it gives him a viewpoint and a sensitivity to the system and to the community that is not often found in the prosecutor's office. Joe has been district attorney a relatively short time. If you'll recall, he defeated incumbent Nico LaHood and then took office at the beginning of this year. He's an advocate for restorative justice, and we've seen that already in his first year in office. So please welcome Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez.
Good evening. Good evening. And Bob, just to let you know, to be consistent with your Spurs story, I have my Spurs boots on tonight. Let me go ahead and set my timer here. The problem with lawyers is if you don't give them a time limit, they'll talk forever. So, good evening again, and thank you very much for inviting me to be with you. I want to first of all thank Dr. Evans, thank Robert Rivard, and everyone else that is involved with putting together this symposium, because I do think it's a very worthwhile event, and it's worthwhile for us to engage in a discussion of mass incarceration. And I will tell you, you heard a little bit about my background, I should say, but it's important for you to know that I come to you with years of experience as an attorney. I've been a lawyer for over 30 years now. But what I learned over the years was that crime and punishment, like life, is not black and white. There is a lot of gray. And there's a lot of opportunity for people like me to use their discretion in recommending punishment. One of the things that I said over the years as a criminal defense lawyer is you ought to look at why a person commits a crime. When you have someone in front of a judge and they commit a crime of theft, for example, you need to consider why they stole that pound of meat, or why they took that loaf of bread. Maybe because they were looking to survive. Maybe it was because they were trying to feed their family. Maybe they have a drug addiction. Maybe they stole that blanket to keep warm at night. Those are things that typically a prosecutor doesn't think about. Part of what I'm trying to do in this county is to bring a new culture into the district attorney's office and teach our young prosecutors and some of our veterans to think outside the box, to not always think about the toughest punishment for whatever crime you're dealing with, but think about why the person did what they did. And if you're talking about a nonviolent offense where someone was not a victim of crime that is serious, then let's think about giving that individual a second chance. And so that's what I'm trying to bring to this office. And I want to share with you some of the things that we've done. But before I do that, first let me tell you, I feel a little bit like a homecoming this is a homecoming because early in the 60s, my aunt lived across the street here behind the gyms, and I spent many a weekend and many time over here walking this campus back then. So I feel very comfortable coming back to Incarnate Word, back when it was called Incarnate Word College. And so I commented about how beautiful this campus is and how much you all have done over the years. So I applaud you for that. But I say constantly, because I'm a product of St. Mary's, I went there, an undergraduate in law school. The best times gotta tell you, students, the best times of your life will be right now. When you're in school, when you're in class, when you are taught to think, and a lot of times when you're taught to think outside the box. And so you'll look back on these times and remember that these were the best of your times. So hopefully you'll have those fond memories that I did back 30, 40 years ago when I walked the campus of St. Mary's. But part of your education is going to be that you develop and you mature as an adult, and you start thinking about people's behavior and why they do what they do. We in the DA's office have the unique responsibility and the unique power to recommend punishment to those that commit crimes. Oftentimes, that punishment requires us to recommend a sentence of imprisonment. But we have to look at the big picture, and we have to look about whether or not prosecutors over the years have contributed to the phenomenon of mass incarceration. And Dr. Evans has already identified to you the problem, and that is that the U.S. does lead in mass incarceration. That although we only have a small percentage of the world population, the U.S.'s share of the world population is less than 5%. In fact, it's about 4.5%. We have a larger share of the prison population. The U.S. share of world prison population is 22%. And as mentioned, Texas imprisons more people than just about any other state in the union. So that's a real problem for us. That's a real problem with the optics when people from other states look at the state of Texas in terms of how we deal with our criminal element, how we deal with the people that are accused of crimes. So if you ask yourself, well, what is it that's the driving force to this mass incarceration? What is it that has caused us to be the leader in sending people to prison? Well, let me be frank with you. I think part of it is people like me. People that are taught to think about being tough on crime, being tough as nails, throwing the book at someone who has committed a crime. In the early 90s, I spent 3 years as a prosecutor in Harris County during a time when there was a lot of violence, especially gang violence, especially juvenile gang violence. And there was an opportunity for a lot of us to make a difference, and we didn't. It was easier for us to recommend a prison sentence. It was easier to recommend the death penalty on capital murder cases than to look at alternatives to incarceration, alternatives to the death penalty. And I thought to myself back 30 years ago, that can't be right. There's got to be a better way to deal with punishment than to throw the book at someone. And there is. So I am now part of what's called a criminal justice reform movement. I am one of 5 prosecutors in the state of Texas that are identified as reformers. And part of our philosophy is to bring restorative justice to the criminal justice system. Fortunately, 3 of the 5 are from major major Texas cities, here in San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. And so together, we're trying to make a difference. But folks, it's a huge shift. It'll take a long time to turn this around, to educate the public that there are alternatives to incarceration, that there are methods that would more appropriately deal with punishment that don't mean that a person has to go to prison for the rest of their lives. So that's part of what brings us to this phenomenon of mass incarceration. The other is the war on the war on drugs. People have heard that there is a war on drugs that we just can't win. Instead of, again, trying to think of alternatives, we continue to pour money into fighting the war on drugs. And folks, it's not making a difference. And so it's up to people like me to see what we can do to try and make a difference. And I'll talk about that in a minute when I talk to you about the policies that we've instituted. So about mass incarceration, well, what are the concerns? Well, the obvious concerns is the disparity. The obvious concerns is incarceration doesn't always treat people similarly situated. And the people that it tends to affect the most are minorities, because I will tell you that it affects minorities in a different way than those that are not in the minority population. For example, on the federal level, a black person is over 2.5 times more likely to be arrested for, let's say, a drug-related offense. At the state level, a black person is about 6.5 times more likely to be arrested for a drug-related offense than his white counterpart. There's a lot of culture that goes into that. Policing may be one of those. The mindset of the community, certainly the mindset of a potential jury, has something to do with the disparity in punishment. But those are just factors that we have to deal with. We are also seeing a difference in gender. For example, men are more likely to be sent to prison than women. A white man has a 1 in 17 chance of going to prison. A Latino man has a 1 in 6 chance of going to prison, and a black man has only a 1 in 3 chance of ending up incarcerated in prison. So you can see that it affects gender, it affects race in terms of who ends up going to prison. And so when you think about what we can do to affect a change, one of the things that we're doing in the district attorney's office is bringing what's called restorative justice. We are bringing into this office new policies and different ways of looking to see how we can resolve cases without sending people to prison. And I'm here to tell you that some of our policies have had some successes. For example, some of you may have heard of what is called cite and release. So that's a system where instead of someone is arrested, the officer cites that individual, and that person is required to show up at a location that is not a county jail. Here it's at the Bexar County Reentry Center. We give an individual the opportunity to show up. We may ask them to do community service. We may ask them to participate in a drug awareness class. If they do what they're supposed to, then at the end of the time, that case gets dismissed, and it's a win-win for them. They never got an arrest record because they never were arrested to begin with. If they successfully complete the program, they don't end up with a conviction, so they can continue on with their lives without having had that blemish on their record. It's a win-win situation for many people, including law enforcement, because what it does, and we have gotten a huge buy-in from the sheriff's office, the sheriff is here, Chief McManus, because it helps them. It helps put their officers back on the street so that instead of spending an entire shift sometimes waiting to book that individual, they can cite that individual and then go back on patrol. But I'll tell you before I forget, Bexar County is very fortunate that we have 3 elected officials that are progressive in thinking. We think the same way, and we are working together well. Sheriff Salazar, myself, and County Judge Nelson Wolf, we all believe in restorative justice. We all believe in putting people in jail that need to be. If I can steal the sheriff's line, he says, he says, jails are for people that we are afraid of. So those are the people we need to focus on trying to remove from society if they commit violent enough crimes to deserve that kind of punishment. But when you're talking about low-level offenders, when you're talking about minor amounts of drugs like marijuana, there are alternatives, and we are using those alternatives. I want to share with you, if I could, that so far in about 3.5 months, we've had a huge success in cite and release. We have had over 600 people that have avoided being arrested because law enforcement is citing them. Those 600 people avoided being arrested arrested and are now being referred to the reentry center, and hopefully will be able to keep their criminal histories intact and go on with their lives. So that's an example of a success that we are seeing in the office. We are also reforming our what's called pretrial diversion program, where before, if someone was eligible for some sort of diversion because they didn't have a criminal history or committed a minor offense, a lot of times you would have to participate in some kind of program like community service or drug treatment, and then your case would get dismissed. What we're doing now is we're dismissing the case up front. We are offering what's called a conditional dismissal. Your case is going to get dismissed, it's going to be removed from the docket, and all you have to do is comply with what we ask you to do. And if you do that, the case gets dismissed, and again, you're avoiding a conviction. So that's another area where we've had some success. We now have had over 3 times the number of applicants for our pretrial diversion program this time than what the prior administration had last year. So again, that's another example of how we're trying to reduce mass incarceration. We are trying to reduce the number of people that sit in jail while they're waiting to get their cases resolved. Another thing that we've done is our declination policies. One of the first things that happened when I got to the office is I realized we only have limited resources, and so I've got to be wise about what I'm prosecuting. We decided to institute a policy where we're declining to prosecute marijuana that's less than an ounce. We are offering this conditional dismissal for less than 4 ounces. So that's an example of how we're trying to give people an opportunity to turn their lives around. And I've only got a couple more minutes before I end my talk, but I want to share with you that one of the things that I'm most proud of is our criminal trespass policy. We all know that we have a homeless problem in this city and in this county, but I continue to say that we shouldn't be policing the homeless problem. It's a society problem, it's not a punishment problem, and I don't think that we need to be housing our homeless at the county jail. And so what we've done is we've decided to institute a program where we're declining criminal trespass cases after we make that decision within the 48 hours. And if it's appropriate to release these individuals back to society, that's what we're doing. Because what we need to do is help them with housing, help them to turn their lives around, not to cause them to languish in jail. So I want to leave you with that. I want to leave you with the thought that we're doing whatever we can in the DA's office to try and reduce the number of mass incarceration. I'm here to answer whatever questions you have, and thank you very much for inviting me to spend time with you this evening.